Oh,
There
there
we
we are.
go. It's Friday. Welcome back to the Friday Grief Chat. I'm Jill,
I'm Deb,
and we're so
and
glad you're here.
I am in the same time zone as Jill.
And I'm
It,
excited because you're in Oregon.
I am. I am on the coast. I'm going to turn my camera around so everybody can see where exactly I am. I am in Lincoln City, Oregon,
Oh, one of the
and
most beautiful places. Look at that. Look at that. Just incredible.
that is the view outside my window. And every night before I go to sleep, I raise the curtain, and so that I can go to sleep. There's a light outside of my room, and so some of the sand is illuminated. I can hear the ocean, a slight roar through my window, and then I wake up to the ocean. And that's exactly
Isn't that
what I want
magical?
to do. And so I get to do this for a couple more nights. And then I drive up to Astoria. Some people might know Astoria from the Goonies. And so, anyway, I'm going to Astoria after that. And I've been coming here since January of 1980.
Yep.
Yeah. And to see friends and friends that were teachers to me, especially in the very beginning of my spiritual and healing career. So, very important to me.
It is. And, it's just a healing place to be there. It really is.
It is to be. I mean, Jill, oh, you're, which pup is this, Doug?
This is Walter. Walter's over
Walter.
with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Walter's been a little slow and ill, right?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
I didn't pull him on for that. He was just whining. He's in his bed next to me,
Ah, there you go.
and he's
And,
unhappy. So tell us about what the ocean does for you, Deb.
you know, I, and let me be perfectly clear. I love where I live in Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
Once I came down to the University of Illinois, I love the expansiveness of the fields and the corn. Um, there are no mountains, and people who are used to being around with mountains feel a little anxiety because it's so open. There's
Mm-hmm.
no mountains around. Our highest elevation, I believe, is 600 to 800 feet.
Yeah, that would be
And
an anxiety-provoking moment for me.
yeah, see, and there's a certain sereneness about that. But coming to the ocean, coming here to the coast, and I've been to the East Coast, I like the West Coast. And it's not the hustle bustle down, when LA was thriving, not under tons of fires and
Oh,
stuff.
everybody hates how crowded that coast is.
But
We
it's
lie
up,
about it, but we do.
right. And I have had friends that up, have always lived in Oregon up that coast, where it's not all of it is hustle bustle. So what does it do for me? You know, the waves are like breathing, and there's a certain um, rhythm to them. Sometimes they're just like breathing. Sometimes, everyone, when they get tight, they forget to breathe sometimes, and they just sort of hold your breath. But with waves keep coming, so it reminds you to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the waves are, it's windier outside, so the waves are taller than they were yesterday, but not quite. They're called king waves. They're not, they're not like that right now. But you can breathe in. There's a certain vastness of the ocean where it's just one big horizon line. I don't see any. I mean, at night you can see there's these lit up buoys that tell where the reefs are and where the ship should go. And in the morning and in the afternoon, you don't see them as much. It's also a little scary, and I don't mind being a little scared. It is so deep. While I love to watch and be on a boat and to look down into water, I love water shows. I gotta tell you, in the middle of the ocean, I don't want to swim in it.
It's a little too
One, there's
fast.
fish poop.
And there's
Don't like,
fish with teeth.
say again.
And there's fish with teeth.
There's fish with teeth. I was like this before Jaws, just saying. I used to come visit in LA and go swimming, right? I don't like the taste of salt water. I have been in Hawaii snorkeling. I have done all those wonderful things. It's a certain amount of scariness because it's sort of like life. The ocean
Mhm.
reminds me that some things can be scary, the unknown, the depth. And yet, when I see a whale diving down and know that they're not coming up for another 20 minutes,
Mhm.
I sort of take that deep breath with that whale and go deep. I know they call them totems, like different animals are.
Right.
It reminds you of something of yourself and you're attracted to it. And I love that deepness, but not to swim in. And there's a certain respect I have
Mhm.
for those that can go that deep. That's that's amazing. So it's it's a little scary, but
Mhm.
not frightening, if that makes sense. I'm not frightened by it. It's just I'm overwhelmed with the depth of what happens, and I find it fascinating. So that's why I come to the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's one of
yeah.
my favorite places too. It's just so calming. And I'm
It,
probably not as deep as Deb, but it's the rhythm of the waves, which
yes.
science says actually does help our brain. There's a reason people who are grieving or stressed gravitate to bodies of water. Those of you
Mm-hmm.
who live on the Great Lakes, you have tides just like we do on the ocean. Even
Mm-hmm.
though they're smaller lakes, the moon does what the moon does, and we have lapping waves, however so small. That consistent sound is very, very healing and very easy to get your brain from an alpha to a beta wave and
Mm-hmm.
to really be able to breathe a little more and relax the shoulders. It also
Right.
really says, life does go on, right?
It
The
does.
best
Those
is that
waves
life
keep coming.
continues. Mhm.
When other life stops, it's when when a period of time stops for an individual and because of a death or
Mhm.
because of a loss, it's like you hold your breath, you're stuck, you're right there. And the waves, an ocean, every time I've had a huge loss in my life, I've come back to the ocean and it it starts moving me. Literally, it moves from that stuck place on. I can last night I dreamt about my mom and I was looking for her and looking for her. And then I had to remind myself in the dream that she had died. And I thought, wow, that's probably influenced by the ocean because the ocean, because of its depth, brings up things from the deep for me
Mhm.
and lets me look at them in it's not like someone saying, you need to look at this, or why don't you look at this, and judging as I might judge myself. The ocean doesn't judge,
The
it's
ocean
just
just tells you
itself.
to breathe and to feel the moisture and to
Yes.
smell the salt air and to hear the birds. That's what's
Ex-
disorienting to me in Hawaii is there aren't seagulls. And so you don't hear the sound of seagulls there. You hear other birds, but no seagulls.
Right. Right.
And
Oh,
that is
I
disorienting to me when I'm there. It takes me a day or two to go, wait, wrong ocean, wrong part of the ocean, wrong island,
right.
wrong
Right.
landmass, right? But yeah, see, there's my
And
boss.
yet the opposite for me, it didn't used to be like this, but now as they build highways, fix highways, things like that, there's what's called retention ponds and there's
Mhm.
more. And in Champaign Urbana, there are some seagulls,
I love that.
especially in the summer. You won't see them in the winter.
Mhm.
And I hear an ocean sound of seagulls, and I go, one
Oh,
of
it's the
these
ocean.
things is not like the other. What the hell? And I mean, we have tons of Canadian geese, too many, I think, in some ways. But yeah, it's bizarre. So out here, it was so sweet at night, and I'll try to get a picture tonight. I don't know what kind of birds. I don't think these were seagulls, but they're littler and they're white, and they walk in a line and march.
Sandpipers.
Oh, that's it. There was
Those
like
are
a
the
whole
sandpipers.
line
Yes.
just
Uh-huh.
walking to and towards
They're
the.
looking for the sand dabs under the holes in the wet, moist sand
Oh,
for critters underneath who have made the holes.
I did not know that. And tonight
Mhm.
I'll get a picture. I was like, those are birds. I'm on
Yes.
the third floor. So, and it's a walk up. There's no elevator.
Oh dear goodness. Yeah, that's not a chill moment, but okay. Good for you. I'm glad you're doing it.
Talk about
Yeah,
breathing. I'm glad I still can do it.
right. I have,
Kudos to me.
right. I have ocean all over my office walls.
I
Have
see.
I have that's just one. The entire office is ocean.
That's that's
I've got
beautiful.
ocean everywhere, and I've got wood that I've collected from the beaches of Oregon and Washington and Northern
Mhm.
California. That is very centering to me. And
Right.
the Oregon and Washington coastlines are my true favorites. Some of
Mhm.
Northern California with the redwoods, absolutely, although that gets a little crowded. Um,
Mhm.
but and if I am grieving, it is the ocean where I go. I If I'm past the initial loss, then it might be the desert, because then you
Mhm.
see the vastness of the desert and the sunrise and the sunset and the
Mhm.
amazing stars, and that's
Mhm.
more after I've gotten through the initial shock and awe. But if it's the
Mhm.
initial shock and awe or it's an anniversary, you will find me largely in Laguna, because that is close by and I can get to it and there's still some open space.
Mhm. You
Yep,
know,
it mhm.
back in the day, growing up in Skokie, I could ride my bike. It's about 11 miles, just, find certain streets and whatever to get to the lake.
Mhm.
So it was about 11 miles from my house. And yeah, I didn't have an ocean, but I could sit and
That
just,
acts like an ocean. I've been on that lake in Chicago.
oh,
It
yeah,
feels like an ocean. It's as vast as an ocean. And
Lake
from
Michigan.
of the
Yeah,
sea, yeah. You can't see the other side. That's good enough. In
exactly.
Florida, I would go down to our lake. I lived on Lake Annie in Polk County,
Mm-hmm.
and so I could literally just walk out the back door and go put my
Mm,
toes in the sand. And no, I'm not afraid of lake water, for those of you who are. Grew up playing in it. Um, and or I would go to Bok Tower, which has a small lake with a beautiful bell tower in it that's like a reflecting pond. It's water is a healing element.
and let's say you are landlocked anywhere, local pools, and I have done water aerobics. Those are probably my favorite kind of classes. I'm not, I'm not going to join a spin class on a bike, and I'm not going to join, I mean, I do yoga, but that has a lot to do with breathing. And breathing is really good for you.
Kind of a necessity, as a matter of fact.
It is. So, but when I do water aerobics, I love to just float on my back, or just, I'm not, and believe me, I don't take baths. I'm a shower person. We got rid of our bathtub in our main bedroom, the main thing. Nope, I don't do baths, but I love to be in a pool with, um, doing exercise, doing things like that. It feels effortless as opposed to being in a gym. And I
100%.
love that feeling. And for those of you who heard my I don't like fish poop, yes, I know all the germs that live in pools. I work for public health, and I I had to study all those diseases. So I wherever, and here's something: when certain people I know have had um, anxiety attacks or full out panic attacks, I often encourage them, once they can be a little grounded, go take a shower. Just get in
Mhm.
the water, because it's a full body sensation, and it changes the way you breathe.
It also changes the chemistries in your body, and
Yes.
changes electrostatic stuff. It really does. I know there's lots of
Calms
words
your,
for it, but I am so tired after skunking this morning. I don't have words. But,
yes.
there's
You were
you getting
skunking.
we were skunked, the dog got skunked again. If you get in the shower, the water on your skin actually changes your
Right.
perception,
Right.
and it actually forces you to calm down.
It reacts with your central nervous system.
Mhm,
It reacts with your adrenals,
mhm,
as in your breathing pattern, less carbon
mhm,
dioxide, breathing in and out, breathing in
mhm,
and out. And it does, like Jill says, completely changes your blood chemistry. And
and
so,
right now,
and
we need that.
And in this day and age, instead of watching the news, I highly suggest watching YouTube videos of the ocean, or
Mhm,
pictures of the ocean, because even that helps change things around for you, you
mhm,
know?
and you
Yeah.
can change the tone in your head, the thought process
Yes.
in your head, the easily repetitive thoughts.
Right.
So, I have silenced social media for myself today again because there were just too many trolls this morning,
Yeah.
and I can't watch the things that they say about people. It's impossible for me to tolerate at this point.
Yeah.
So instead, it's places that I would like to be at some point without any pressure to get there. Ocean. People post pictures from the sides of cruise ships where all you see is the vast ocean going by.
Oh, yeah.
Those are amazing, right?
So I have to tell you, this just cracks me up. Back in the day of film, and you would have to, uh, you take the picture and then go to a lab or someplace to print it, or if you had your own.
Photomat. Remember those, everybody?
Oh my God.
Drive
Oh
up
my
and
gosh.
hand over your little thing of,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and then drive back and be in an envelope, and you get to, and you had all the bad ones too, and you had to pay for them.
Right. Yes. And so, what often would come in from our house is, if we were on a boat anywhere and there were seagulls, there were probably, if the roll, I think the roll had 50 maybe, or 100, I don't remember, think more than half would be bad pictures of seagulls. Because there was, unless I had like my dad's Yashica camera back in the day, I had an Instamatic, or remember underwater cameras. So when we went to Hawaii the first time, there was lots of bad turtle pictures because you can't like focus.
We came
And
home from some family trips when the kids were little and we still had, and there was an entire roll from Washington of turtles.
I know
Just random turtles.
random
We
turtles.
could have
That's
one
right.
turtle picture. Now we have, hundreds.
I
Mhm.
exactly. And so I laugh, and yet I'm grateful that I can, not that I get rid of many things. I'm sort of like a picture on my phone hoarder. And so I just need to like start deleting some things. However, I love that I can play a little bit with the scenery. I can play a little bit with sharpening an image.
Mhm.
And, you know, yesterday, it's sort of like a interesting silent monk retreat. Jeannie cannot walk very far. So she stayed in the car and I went down to the the beach. We parked someplace she could see it. And there were maybe 10 of us. All we went at low tide in the
Mhm.
afternoon and looking for rocks. And nobody said anything. It's like you join a silent retreat for 45 minutes while it's
Mhm.
low tide.
Yes, I
And
love doing that. And you
isn't
find
that
the
beautiful?
softest stone that you can take. I have several of those, not a lot because I do like to leave them behind, but you just find the right hand stone. And if you don't have a hand stone, you really need one because everyone needs a hand stone they can hold on to, roll in their hand, and really
Hmm.
self calm with it. I'm trying to find. Can I reach it? Keep talking. I'm gonna.
Oh, that's all right. Speaking of stones, Jeannie gave me, I think this is called African amethyst, and I'm gonna hold this up.
Oh my goodness,
Look at how beautiful. Jeannie gave that to me yesterday.
I
And
love them.
it's and it is like a hand stone you can just hold right there. And
Right.
it's gorgeous.
Here's my hand stone that I've kept for many years. Can't
Awesome.
see
Look
it.
at
It looks
that.
like a little heart.
Yes.
It's soft from the ocean that it came from.
Right.
And then my hand shell, which is not a whole
Yes.
shell, but it fits in
It
your hand
fits. And it's
perfectly.
been worn down.
It
The hard
has
edges
no
are
hard
soft.
edges. And kids pick this up, adults pick that up, and you just hold it
Hmm.
and it just self calms. And this is my coral piece that also
Oh,
just gets
beautiful.
right.
Yes.
It's that piece that brings you back to the self calming of the ocean
That's
and
right. That's
also
right.
helps you center. Right. And here's one of my
And
favorite pieces of Oregon wood.
oh,
That
that's
focus.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't know he did show and tell. Folks, if you're listening to this on the podcast, go watch
Yeah.
us on at Humor, Grace, and Grief on Facebook. You'll see them.
Yeah.
But it's
I,
that stuff that gives us that center, that calm in the storm.
exactly. So that's obviously you can hear the almost the serenity that Jill and I are projecting here, and like our breathing, our as and she's not even looking out at an ocean right now, but she's feeling there's tactiles, rocks, stones, and wood to bring you back. That is that is what some of the nature religions do, is they
Mhm.
bring you to that place where you can be still and
Mhm.
know yourself. And
Mhm.
Jill and I are talking self-care here. We are being in the moment, except right now
Mhm.
as while I'm analyzing it, being in the moment of self-care. You can drink more water because water in and water out is a lot of self-care. If you can't drink plain water, how about making it into an herbal tea? Nothing with caffeine. That doesn't count.
You can
So
breathe. We have students
breathe.
in our nonprofit here at Central Counseling, and we
Right.
take students on for our nonprofit who are in their master's programs, and we train them to be good therapists. That's our goal. And so we meet with their advisors from their universities. I met with one yesterday, and at the University of Kentucky MSW program, they give their students an hour of self-care time per week to put on their time sheets in an effort to promote that mental health providers,
Right.
social workers really learn that
Ministers.
they need to put into their own vessel before
Yes.
they can give out. They need to grab
Yes.
onto that piece of wood and
Yeah.
yesterday
Oop.
I had several are we there? Yesterday I had
Yeah, I
several
am.
people who had um difficult news that I was dealing with and not to disclose more, but really difficult news. And that does even, you're the therapist, you have boundaries. It's you're the minister, you still are absorbing it. And
Yes.
you better believe that this is what that I reached for my stone and sat for
Right.
a few minutes and lit a candle and gave them the thoughts they needed and let my thoughts stop centering on them so that I could not carry that heaviness with me.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
And we encourage, as our show comes to an end right now, we encourage each and every person to it's you're going to absorb the news just through the ethers. You're going to see people's personalities change. Some people might be more angry and
Mm-hmm.
snippy. Some people might be more withdrawn. Some people, I met a woman on the plane who just said, I give myself permission to be off social media because it just hurts too much
Mm-hmm.
to see and hear what is going on. And it is the Chinese New Year. And I wanted to mention this. And I read like someone pulled a card for the Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the snake. And it, I was always taught by my healing teachers here, you pull the skin off the snake, they're going to molt it anyway. Too fast, the snake dies. And it talks about the year of the snake as a molting so that we can see more clear, we can feel, we can make changes and hope because uh, light takes over darkness. Darkness does not take over light. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way the world works. So if you're feeling hopeless with this year of the snake, look for the hope, look for the light, look for the helpers,
Look for your
Mr. Roger.
people. Mr. Rogers was right. You look for your people and gather them close.
That's right. And if you don't share what I call sharing a reality with someone, that's okay. You'll know inside your heart when it's time to speak up or
Mhm.
not.
And grieve the losses of the people that you thought you knew
Yes,
and the administrations or the whatever part of the world that you're involved in that you thought you knew, you thought you had an underpinning, and now you're discovering it's not that.
it's not that.
And let yourself have that time to grieve it and
Mm-hmm.
then to decide what you're going to do to honor that loss and to make a difference.
And feel free to get any, if you're in the Midwest, take a piece of tree inside and hold it.
Hmm.
And there's plenty of rocks in the Midwest, believe me. It's
Go get a
different
plant
kind
from
of
a
rocks.
local go get a plant from a local nursery and bring it inside so you can refresh your air. That greenery inside, even if you say I have a brown thumb, I'll kill it. If you go to a
Be
local
careful of
nursery,
your
they will
pets.
teach you which ones you can have with pets and that you won't be likely to kill.
That's, yeah, yeah,
I, I have
exactly.
4 orchids growing right now, folks. I've killed every orchid I've had for 60 years. I have 4 of them growing right now.
That's amazing because I've killed a cactus these last year. That's how, I mean, Daryl's much better at it. And I used to be like green thumb all the way around. And then I went to purple thumbs and
Oh,
doing different things.
you do the crafts though, so you grow things in
I
other ways.
do. Here's one
Oh,
of the paintings I'm working on.
oh my gosh, is that beautiful?
Yeah.
Oh, Deb, I love that.
So I've got 2 paintings so far. I hope to start a couple more. Start them. I don't have to finish them all here, but I will take the time while I have it.
I colored a picture at Family Promise last night, our homeless services program. Yeah, here's the
Yay!
picture. Color it in with your coloring pencils, Jill, because that's what we do for self-care with some of our kiddos and parents who are experiencing homelessness. They've lost everything. You can still sit and color and make art
You can
and
take out some
stencil.
crayons.
Mhm,
Exactly. Do those little,
mhm.
you know what else you could do? You could take a bottle of ketchup and a bottle of mustard if they have a squeeze top and take some lunch meat and some bread and some chips or grapes or whatever and make a picture on your plate. You
You
do
can
not play with your, I am saying, yes, play with
play
your
with your
food.
food. Absolutely. Have you seen the person on TikTok who covers the table with tinfoil and then makes pasta and dumps the fresh made pasta on the tinfoil,
Yes.
pours the sauce over it, and the kids get to eat it that way?
Yes.
Like, how much
Yes.
fun is that, and how refreshing is it for your brain and to do something outside that box?
Do you know, for my daughter's 16th birthday, there was another person who had her 16th birthday. So I made them both cakes that resembled their driver's license.
Oh, I love that. Now, see, I'm
And
not that
all,
creative.
I, that was back then. And then I took just a box of forks and said, eat. And then I wake up in the morning and our big orange tabby has also eaten a corner of it. But I didn't care. I mean, those are the things you want to do. Just the drama of doing things different
Hmm.
is healing because that's healthy drama. That's
Exactly
playful
right.
drama.
You don't have to do things perfectly. You
No,
can just do something. You can also find a local animal rescue and offer to take a dog for a walk. If you
exactly.
can't have a dog at home, but you miss that companionship, which
Right.
I have around the clock right now with Mr. Walter, if you are missing that, most of the animal rescues, once you do an intake with them, will tell
Yes.
you when they have their hikes and you can go take a dog out.
Take a dog out.
In
Yes.
Hawaii, you can actually go borrow a dog from the shelter, and they put a little vest on saying, "I'm available for adoption." They give you a list of parks where you can go
Uh
and
huh.
hike and restaurants where you can eat outside with your dog, and then that dog gets human companionship, not a cell,
Mm hmm.
and a lot of them end up going home or being adopted by other people on the island.
Ah, I love it.
Right? You can do those things that are not typical, not within the 4 walls if you need to get out.
Right.
If you need to stay in, if you're in the snow in, oh, I don't know, Florida right now, you can in
Louisiana. Oh my
Louisiana.
God. NOLA.
Right. Yeah, Cajuns with their airboats on the snow. My favorite, folks, was you got to go on YouTube and find the city in Florida that had their municipal workers out before the ice hit. They were sitting on the back of the pickup truck on the tongue, and they had a big old bag of what looked like rock salt. I'm not sure it wasn't tequila salt, and cups, and they were just sprinkling it on the on the road as they went down. It was hysterically funny.
It is.
You
It's
can have
just
fun with this.
right. You want to do that. And you want to do things that you don't have to have a full out laugh, but at least
A smile.
raising the corners changes the shape of your face. You want some quiet time to go deep like a whale, and
Mhm.
you want some creative food moments. If you're going to eat, you need to breathe, you need to be sleeping. Make sure getting some sleep, and you need to drink water. So,
Or a cup of herbal tea. Like
a
lemon tea
cup,
sounds like a lovely idea right now.
yes, there you go.
There. All right. Next week we'll be back. We will talk more. We will talk about more loss. We will talk about surviving the current situation we find ourselves in.
Hmm.
Maybe go a little more deep on it, but I think we all needed a little bit of a mind break
Uh
and
huh.
positive ocean mind melt today. So find your shell, find your rock, go and give yourself some peace. And we will see you next Friday at 10 in the morning Pacific time.
12
12,
noon
where you
Central.
in on Central, 1 o'clock Eastern time, where it's always closer to Friday at 5 o'clock when we come on. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Breathe.